There was a questionable 4th and short call. That's kind of been the theme of the day in the fourth quarter by Urban Meyer. Let's hear from him as he explains the decision. They gave it to the right guy in James Robinson. We've been waiting for them to finally trust him in that spot, but it still didn't work. Here's Meyer talking about that.
Short yardage, that's 3 big misses we've had. 3 fourths and 1, 2 on the goal line, and then the one yesterday. And I'm going to have to self-check myself too and say, is that the right thing to do? That's just always been when you're talking about that far to go win a game, go win the game. And we got to first evaluate if that's the right call. Second, about what are the actual play calls we're doing.
I love it when it's said with no sense of irony or sarcasm. I have to self-check myself. Maybe you do. It was 4th and 1 from the Miami 9 with the Jaguars up by 4 points. But he's been hearing, trust James Robinson, trust James Robinson, trust James Robinson, and he did. And James Robinson didn't make it to the sticks. I don't know that I like that outside off-tackle thing in a situation like that. Just blast it straight up the middle.
Well, it's 4th and 2. Again, and it's 4th and 2. Go up a touchdown. I just don't understand that. I think that was an inkling a little bit into his college thoughts right there. I mean, it's 4th and 2. It's 2 yards. Let's just go win the game right there.
Them.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's when you're Ohio State and you're playing Northwestern. We know you're going to do that. That's fine. It's not the same. You're the Jaguars. You're Northwestern. All right? You're Northwestern in the NFL right now. And I'm saying that, half-heartedly. I don't know how good Northwestern is this year, but you know my point here. There's no guarantee you're going to get that in that moment. You're controlling the second half. You just got a big turnover with a stupid interception that Tua threw. Or maybe I'm off a little bit. Either way, I think I'm off on that one a little bit because then they turned the ball over with a fumble. I'm off. Forget that statement. But either way, you got a chance to take control of the football game, and you've been controlling the second half of the game. That gave Miami a little juice, momentum. We stopped them, 17-13. Guess what happened? 91-yard drive, touchdown, and now the other team's winning 20-17. That was one I don't get. In fact, both of these 4th and 1s, I can say, and anybody could witness, I did not agree with either one. Brian Flores is later in the game. I don't get that one either. I'll second-guess that just as much.
And that's one where the game was tied. And they went for it, the Dolphins did, and it didn't work. I think it was a running play out of shotgun formation, which you hate and I hate. Let's hear Brian Flores, the coach of the Dolphins, explaining the decision to go for it on that final drive that ultimately gave the Jaguars the opportunity to win the game.
Trying to win the game. 4th and 1, I'm not sure when the first one you mentioned, but, game's tied. We got an opportunity to feel good about getting a yard, and we didn't get it.
Well, yeah, and they didn't get it, and the play call may have had something to do with it.
This is what I mean.
Why are you running out of shotgun formation? Get up there and bash it, or just punt the ball and play for overtime because you gave the Jaguars a short field. You gave them the ball on their own side, on the right side of the 50, and they didn't need to go very far to get themselves in position to kick the game-winning field goal. Oh, and by the way, your timeout, because you weren't ready to defend a Hail Mary, gave the Jaguars the chance to say, maybe we shouldn't throw the Hail Mary. Well, maybe we should try to get the first down. If Brian Flores doesn't call timeout before that play with 5 seconds left where they were going to throw it to the end zone, the Jaguars, they wouldn't have had a chance to second-guess their own decision and get the first down and kick the field goal and win the game. So he's got a couple of things he's going to have to explain to Stephen Ross about how that game went sideways.
But what do the analytics say? So no, I don't know. I didn't get a tweet from the analytics companies on that one. That never seemed to get a tweet when it doesn't work. It never happens. It never happens.
It didn't work last night, though.
It didn't work last night. Okay. But it just doesn't seem to happen as much as it should. It doesn't. Urban Meyer, go up a touchdown. You guys aren't that good. They're dominating. Do that. Miami Dolphins. I want to know, really, what were the analytics before that? I don't understand that. The first thing I would say is Jacksonville has a lot of pressure on them. They're on the pressure of being the stinkiest of the stinkiest. Make them drive the field and go win the game. Put pressure on them. Don't make it to where if they get 2 short completions, they win it or have a chance to win it. That would be the first thing I would say. I don't know how the analytics answer that. Then the second thing I would say is, Miami, you're the worst running team in football. So does that play into the analytics too? Again, and I don't know. But, yeah, I just feel like some of these just get swept under the rug. And, again, it goes back to everything we're saying. And I love Brian Flores, but that's just everybody says this now. Aggressive. We're just trying to win the game right there. Right there. We tried to win it, but you lost it. And again, and Urban Meyer, you tried to lose it. I don't know what the analytics said there. And that's where it drives me crazy right now.
I think the point that you mean to make is this. When someone is aggressive and maybe the analytics didn't support being aggressive, that's when it's crickets from
exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Stats.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
That's where you don't hear that. And then I would like to know. I just feel like we only hear one side of the story a lot of the times. But, yeah, that was either one. I can get behind McDermott's decision last night. We kind of laid it out. There's a lot of a lot of things there that supported a lot of positive conversations for him going for it. On the other hand, on this one, looking at the game, your own team, evaluating it for what it is, I think these are two situations where I find it fair to criticize. I do. I don't think it all adds up when you try to add it up to go, did it make sense to go for it in either one of those situations across the pond?
And Brian Flores better start winning some games because he works for an owner who fired Tony Sparano during his 4th season, fired Joe Philbin during his 4th season, fired Adam Gase after his 3rd season. This is season 3 for Brian Flores. They got 7 games until the bye. 4 of them are arguably winnable. It's like every other week. They've got the Falcons, then they've got the Jets 2 weeks later, the Giants 2 weeks after that, the Texans 2 weeks after that. I think I've got it out of order, but that's the progression. Every other week they have a game they should win. And if they don't win some of these games, Chris, again, is it right? Is it wrong? Is it fair? Is it not? Doesn't matter. Stephen Ross may decide the time has come to change out the regime. And it makes me wonder, 2 weeks from today, trade deadline comes and goes.
Well, this is the scenario
do you make a play for Deshaun Watson to save everyone's butt?
Right. It might be over this year. Do you just start planning for the future? I don't know. We talked about this a little bit, and hey, the offense in Miami is a little bit of an issue. There's no doubt. I mean, Preston Williams hurt. Devontae Parker hurt. They got issues running the ball like we just talked about. So there's issues there, let alone is the owner going to be that cutthroat when everybody you talk to in football would tell you he's the reason they drafted Tua? I think, he
won't say that.
I know.
Not my decision. Not my decision.
Okay.
Not my decision.
Right, well,
but you know what, Chris?
Yeah.
At some point, I know we got to take a break.
Yeah.
At some point, it's incumbent on the people in the football operations to deprogram the brain of the owner and get him to understand that it's not Tua. And I know hindsight is crystal clarity, but I still don't know how anyone would have had Tua ahead of Justin Herbert. I don't know how that would have happened. And it would have been on Chris Greer, Brian Flores, and everyone else to say, hey, Steve, I know we've been saying tank for Tua for a while, but this other guy's better. And somebody should have figured that out. And
very few people in the whole business. It's too many people that get caught up in wait, Alabama was winning and he was a top recruit and it must be because of him. I know Alabama hasn't been winning for the last 15 years. I guess every quarterback should have been a top pick of the draft. That's people get fall in that trap too much.
Let's take a quick break. I'm sure that's something we'll be discussing throughout the course of the season, especially if the Dolphins don't turn it around after losing 5 in a row.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.